Hello, my name is Jonathan Davis, and today I want to show you our Trade Calculator login tool, which has been designed with your trend signal strategy in mind. Essentially, what you can do with it is log your trade and calculate your stop optional limit. You may be aware, but there have been some recent trend signal updates to their strategy, which incorporate different limits depending on the instrument which you're looking at for a particular strategy. So I've just actually brought up the crib sheet onto the screen at the moment. Essentially, there's a lot of information which you would otherwise have to remember, but what this calculator tool does is take that all into account for you. So depending on what you see, it will then tell you what you need to know in order to work out your stop optional limits for that specific trade. And depending on whether or not you enter that required information, it will then give you your stop or your limit, well, your stop and your limit, I should say, sorry. So this is just a demonstration video. Of course, if you would like to get your hands on it, just get in touch. What I'm going to do is go through an example with you now. So bear with me. I'll head on over to Enzyme Charts. We have this Swiss JPY trade, which I want to go through quickly. I'll just drag that back as if we're looking at it from today's perspective. This was actually a trade which occurred on the 7th of February. So what I'll do is I'll first establish whether it's with or against a long-term trend. Of course, on this occasion, there's a red sniper circle, but a green confirmed vector average. Therefore, they're going against each other. It's against the long-term trend. They don't match. They don't correspond. So with that information, Swiss JPY, what I can do is bring up the calculator tool again. We have these white cells on the left-hand side. In fact, let me just zoom in. We'll be entering the information we see initially there. It will then tell us what we need to know, and we'll have to enter in these white cells here, and then it will give us our stop and our limit if we scroll to the right. Now, it's only the white cells which you can enter information on this sheet. So if we just minimize this, the instrument, of course, with Swiss JPY, I'll just click that. It will pop up with a drop-down list, which is a pretty handy tool. Strategy, of course, we established was against the trend, and the type, well, of course, this was a sell trade, so short for sell, long for buy. If I continue to scroll to the right, it now tells me exactly what I need to know for that particular trade. So I need the entry point. The previous high, now the 10 pips, has automatically been applied by that, so you just enter exactly as you see, and the 14 daily ATR. That's what we need for this particular trade. We do not need to know the spread, as we have opted to use the average spread for this particular trade, which is 3 pips. If we prefer to actually put in our own specific value for the spread, just change this yes to a no, and that would then become a required field. But if you just want to keep things nice and simple, you can just keep that to yes if you wish. So there we go. Let's pick out that information, and I'll show you what that stop and limit looks like. So let me just go ahead and minimize this again now. Our entry, of course, we just hover our mouse over that candle on the right hand side whilst looking at the C figure in the top left, C for close, and I can see that that's 115.664. The previous high, we'll just look at this candle here. We'll find the highest point of that candle, i.e. the top of this wick, just by looking at the H figure here. Whilst our mouse is hovered anywhere on that candle, really, we don't care where we put our mouse. But that number I see is 118.544, and the ATR is this red figure here, whilst our mouse is hovered over that candle with the sniper circle, so 1.031. Of course, I'm just demonstrating how you would use the calculator tool. But if we just enlarge that again, what you'll find is if we just click enter, having put in all the required information, i.e. these 3 cells here, it's now giving us a stop and limit figure. Okay, very good. It's even given us our stake size, based of course on our balance up there. If we prefer to, we could use the set percentage risk model. So it's now given me a 25p point stake size, and that is based on my current stop and my balance using the 1.5 set percentage risk. But of course, I could just change that to whatever, however much I want to risk for that particular trade. But I'm going to go ahead and change that to average loss. Okay. On the far right hand side, we could put in a user comment, and we also have the option to record our P&L for those trades, which I'll go on to in just a second. But here we go. With this information, of course, we were looking at a Swiss JPY trade, and we worked out a stop of 301 pips and a limit on this occasion of 77. So all you would then need to do is, with that information which you've calculated, and of course this is a previous trade, but we would head on over to our broker, drag and drop that onto our chart. In this case, I'm just showing the ETX platform, as it is one of the platforms which we recommend for your trend signal trading, as it has all those markets and allows you to trade at time frames you want to with very competitive spreads. And actually, on that note, it is just worth pointing out that when looking at a broker platform, please do ensure that it is FCA regulated. If you are based in the UK, of course, you want to make sure that your money is protected by the Financial Service Compensation Scheme. That will be protected, of course, up to £50,000 should anything happen to the actual broker themselves. Very, very important. Make sure that you are able to do your trade in Twowaymarkets. We're regulated specifically to help with regards to your broker platform. So if you do need any assistance in this area, or if you would like a bit of a walkthrough of one of the recommended platforms, please do get in touch, as we can go through that together whenever you're free. But without further ado, yeah, I'll put Swiss JPY on the chart. I'm going to bring up a trading ticket here. I'm going to tick the stop, tick the limit, and type in the values which we calculated. So 301 stop, 71 pips limit. Of course, that's quite a wide stop on this occasion, but trend signal will have what's known as active stops in case that trade was to reverse against us. And of course, once we've entered in the required information, all we then need to do is click that sell button. Of course, we clicked sell because we saw a sell trade on that occasion. We saw a red sniper circle. And there we go, that's now active. But let's head on over back to the ETX spreadsheet here. Of course, I said that this is a log as well as a calculator. Each trade would be a new row, so we could work chronologically left to right for each row and then start a new one for each subsequent trade which we identify. What we can also do though is record the P&L. So on this occasion, this trade hit its limit, so we could put in a 77 pip limit on the right hand side, and it will automatically highlight the screen just to let you know that it was a winning trade. Or of course, we could have put in that perhaps it was actively stopped at 120 pip loss, so that would highlight as red. But if we just change that back to green, what we are able to do is work on that new row now if we wanted to, or we could go to the previous trades tab and have a look at all of the trades which we've actually recorded so far. So I've just put in a few examples here. There's 9 in total now. You can see there's only one green highlighted row at the bottom. That's because we've actually put in a P&L figure there. And what we could do if we wanted to is actually put something in for each one of these. So let's say 97 pips, 140, let's say that's 120 loss, 89 pip win. I could just keep on going through this. Oh, there's 2 more. So let's say, there we go. I've just put in figures randomly, so you have to forgive me here, but the point is to demonstrate that it will tell you how many trades you've placed. If you're keeping track of your pips, it will tell you how many pips up you are, net of all losing trades, of course, winning and losing trades. And what more, we can actually filter by a particular month or a particular strategy within a particular month. So I could look at all continuation trades now and see that there was 5 since I've began recording on this demonstration here. 5 trades, of which accounted for 115 pips. Sniper against trend. Well, there was one that I didn't actually put a P&L figure in, as it said here that it was a no trade. The stop was either too small or too large. Um, so here we go. There was 3, of which accounted for 152 pips. And Sniper with the trend, there was only 1, of which accounted for 89 pips. But if you just want to keep things nice and simple, we can unfilter that and just stick to the new trades tab, as this should really be there just to simplify things for you. You don't want to overcomplicate something if you don't necessarily need or want access to that information. Though what I will say is it is really valuable just to be recording your trades, as it's only when you're recording your trades and actually looking back on them that you could actually then identify whether perhaps there's something going amiss there. Perhaps you're watching the trend signal workshops, which are on Mondays and Thursdays, and Adrian is talking about some trades which turned out differently from the ones which you've placed. If there's a discrepancy there, then that's where you know something may be going wrong, and that's when you'll be able to, of course, ask those questions which you may not otherwise ask, as you may think everything's hunky-dory. Okay, so I'm just going to go through and demonstrate one more thing which will actually be pretty useful for everyone. If we were to say put in the instrument Euro JPY, it doesn't matter about the date, we can just leave that blank, but Sniper against the trend, it's actually already telling me over here that the previous trade in this sequence for that particular instrument was a continuation, so therefore we probably don't want to go ahead and place this trade, as one of the new rules with trend signal is if the previous trade was a continuation, then do not, and you're placing it against the trend trade, Sniper against the trend, then don't place that. Of course, if we were to change that to with the trend, we'll be able to continue as normal, same for continuation or S4 and S5. It's only if a Sniper against the trend trade follows from a continuation, that's when it gives you that warning, and it knows that based on the information which we've recorded here in our previous trades tab. So if we go back, you'll be able to see the previous trade in the sequence for that particular instrument, Euro JPY. Actually, here we go. There was one on the 1st of February. It was a continuation long. Okay. So pretty interesting stuff. It's nice that it gives you that little message there. And of course, you can then do whatever you wish with that. And if I go to the potential trades tab, what you'll find is that each time we head on over to a new section, then filters those trades out. So if I was to record all of the required information for a particular trade, and it gives me a stop and limit, if I was then to head on over to the previous trades tab, we'll find that visible there. We head on over back to new trades, and it gives you blank rows again. So you'll find all your previous trades there. Potential trades, if we give that a click, we'll find there's actually been 2 other occasions where I tried to place trades this month, Sniper against the trend trades, but they actually followed from a continuation. So I didn't actually go ahead and place any of those in the end. But let's just go head on over back to new trade. One last thing, again, I mentioned at the very beginning, you're probably using this crib sheet at home. You may have even printed it out and put it in front of your table there before placing your trades. Well, if we just minimize this, what I want to do is show you, we can put in any instrument, put in any strategy, and any direction, and it will then tell you on the right hand side here how the gross limit is actually calculated for this specific strategy, for this specific instrument. So of course, for Aussie USD, we have a market of Sniper with the trend, so it should be the low of 80 or the daily ATR. And if we have a look, that's what it's telling us there. Now, if we were to perhaps do Euro GBP continuation. Let's see what it says then. So Euro GBP continuation, yeah, daily ATR there. Of course, if that was a sniper against a trend, let's see what it says. Low of 100 or the daily ATR. It's of course requiring the ATR figure therefore, and sniper with the trend. 1.3 times the daily ATR. And it's worth pointing out that on this occasion, yeah, it would multiply that by 1.3 automatically for you. So you would just have to enter exactly as you see, and that's worth pointing out again. Every time you're taking those figures from Ensign, just enter exactly as you see, including all the places after decimal point. The calculator will do that all for you. In addition, it does take into account the unit risk of your broker if you select it up here, and it will also give you the what the broker calls that specific instrument and the actual trading hours for that particular broker for that particular instrument. So again, that's if you're choosing it up here. But that pretty much in a nutshell is how you would calculate those trades. I mentioned earlier, if you just want to keep things bare bones as simple as possible, then by all means, each trade is a new row, go one by one, enter the information which you see down the list. As so, you have access to all of those different strategies. It will just put in the required information. It will then give you a stop and a limit, and you can go about all your trading that way. Okay. Well, thank you everyone who obviously is watching today. I said at the beginning, if you do need any help or assistance with regards to your broker platform, please do let us know. That's what we're here for. We're here to help. More than happy to help you through, perhaps have a bit of a walkthrough session of one of the recommended platforms. And if you need those smaller stake sizes applying to your account, do let us know, as I know that is quite, well, with traders, there is obviously the psychological aspect to take into consideration and the risk management side. Those are the two biggest flaws for traders, if I'm completely honest. And what we want to make sure is that they're not going to get in the way of your success, really. So, as I say, please do let us know if you need any help or assistance. If you'd like to get your hands on this, please do get in contact. This works with all those platforms which we recommend. So if you open up an affiliated account, we'll be happy to send this across. But thank you for your time. Cheers, everyone. Bye for now.